And we're live. We have Autumn as a special guest tonight.
Black and Orange.
Black and Orange Tarot. I'm sure you guys know about her already, but if you haven't,
Hello.
go over.
Live every day at noon.
Mm-hmm. We got the Jenny.
Noon Central Time, I should say, 1 Eastern.
And the Johnny down there messing with his stuff with his handsome red glasses and his red shirt. You're all matchy today.
And Jen Lynn and her new Petty t-shirt.
What do you, oh, you're messing with your glasses? That's fancy. See, y'all are fancy. I'm over here looking like a heifer with my crazy ass hair. I was like, no, I don't feel like fixing it. It's too much. So
no, you look summer casual.
Or I would like to think. So hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm going to start off with a little thingamathing.
So should we do announcements first? Give people time to get in before you do your...
Yeah, I'm just going to make one quick announcement on my behalf. For those of you in the chat, and I'll say it twice for those in the back, I cannot and will not discuss certain topics tonight, period. I'll let these guys go ahead, but I cannot say anything. Whether you are camp, it was staged, or whether you are camp, this really happened, I cannot engage in that conversation. But I will say, this is a person who for nearly a decade has carried the torch and advocated for political violence. Yesterday, whether you believe it was real or not, he was a victim of said violence. Okay? He is not a martyr. He sure as fuck is not a hero. If anything, he is the cause of this situation. So come November, get your asses out to vote, and just enough. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because I cannot say anything else moving forward in regards to that conversation. So
but we can't.
Just let them know that I can't. So go ahead.
So Lucky Girl, it's a new t-shirt. She was putting my old t-shirt quote in. This one says Scott ain't petty. Instead, he sent me.
Yes, okay, so
she always posts what my t-shirts say.
All right. So the questions for Becca can be: was it sunny out? were they selling those elephant ear? Were they selling snow cones? Things like that. Those will be your questions tonight.
Yeah, or like Supreme Court stuff. But everything that happened yesterday, I can't. I'm just anticipating all the stuff from work tomorrow, and I'm just tight-lipped. So any announcements, anybody? Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. My seminar for the last weekend of September and the first weekend of October to learn healing energy work is open. It will remain open through August to register for it. So get your registration so you can get your plane tickets. Yes, it's in Portland, Oregon again. I have not found a location that works for me on the East Coast. So you East Coasters will just have to fly across to Portland if you want to come. This is a seminar if you want to learn how to do healing energy work. This is not a seminar for me to work on you, because I may not have an opportunity to work on every single person in the class. I work on a lot of people, but I may not have an opportunity to work on every single person. It's to learn and to practice on each other. So on my website under the seminars tab, there's a few pictures from the last seminars. So go look at those. It's a lot of fun. You can tell we're all smiling and laughing and having a good time while learning. And if anyone would like a personal reading with me, jenlintarot.com. You could also hit the readings tab and schedule a reading. I have there might be an opening or two in October still, and then November's open. they're booking up pretty fast. And I take 2 weeks off in December. So if you want a reading before Christmas, get in soon. Otherwise, it's just hot as hell here. I harvested my first cherry tomatoes. I'm all excited, but it's been raining every day and thunderstorms and just hot. We're trying to survive, aren't we, Autumn? It's like humid hot.
Yeah, it's been very humid. There's also, I keep getting notifications of a storm warning for us this evening. So, yeah.
My power went out about 3 times last night during a storm. So if I disappear, I probably lost power.
My internet's been doing that. Just off, on, off, on, off, on. Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Johnny? What you got going on? No new tarot classes coming up? Nothing? You're just gonna be sit there and be fancy with your red glasses and your red shirt.
He'll be at the seminar with me in September, October. So if you want to see Johnny in person, another reason to come and learn healing energy work. And
Johnny and I are in discussions about Johnny coming to do another visit for the magical forest again for Christmas. So hopefully this time we won't lose your ass when you just freaking like take off. And I'm like, where the hell did Johnny
go? Okay, first of all, and second of all, listen here. Okay.
First and second.
I did a live stream and I didn't want to put all the other people in the live stream if they didn't want to be. And secondly, I don't need y'all to guide me around. I ain't for. I'm okay.
I wanted to play with you in the lights, Johnny.
Okay, well then I'll follow you around next time.
Remember the part where the singing trees? Remember that part? The trees that you could walk on?
When you're there for 6 hours, it's all the same afterwards to me. So, it was all wonderful though. So if y'all ever get a chance, if you're in California, it's a fantastic little visit. It really was. So.
That's up in the LA area, right?
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. In person, it's so much more. I don't know if intense is the word, but it's just I like lights and I like trees, and so they combined the both. I was in heaven. So
the one thing I want is to steal that giant moon on the water. Remember that one?
I could stand there for a good 2-3 hours just to buy it.
So pretty. It's like, I don't have a yard for that. I don't have a pond, and I don't think I'll be able to stick that thing in my car anyways because it's so big. But
we'll pitch in and we'll buy the house next door and just knock it down and stick it there.
I like my neighbors over here. I don't like those ones down there.
Yeah, those the ones that Brexy doesn't like. We'll take those people.
Oh my God! But Peanut got Brexy a new dog bone, and it's like dinosaur size.
I measured it on my arm. It's from below my elbow to past my wrist. It's that big, and it's like this big around. It's like a dinosaur bone. She can't pick it up. It's too big.
You're dragging it around the kitchen.
What's going on with you? Got any announcements?
Well, I'm on, as many know, I am on every single day of the year I come on between noon and 12:15. Every day I have for over 4 years. Always there. And I come on in the evenings if there's something big happening. I take questions out of the chat. So all I have to do is leave questions in the chat. And it's not pay to play or anything like that. So you're always welcome.
Also, her friend Sarah joins her.
Yes, on Wednesday, Sarah's with me, and she's not a reader in public, but she's just a dear, and yeah, everybody loves her. Also, my astrology course called Astrographics is on track to be going live at August 30th, but we'll have to see. But that's
come back on before your launch that we go through it again.
Thank you. So yeah, and I've been starting to incorporate some of the images and talking about astrology during the live stream around noon. but not it being exclusively astrology, because who do I lose viewers? Oh man. I start talking about anything astrology and it's like 200, 300. Wolf. It's like, okay, I get it. But anyway.
And for me, I've replied to all emails requesting personal readings. Check your emails. And that's all I got, y'all. It's on you. If you want to start with the madness, I'm just going to mute myself and sip my water and my coffee.
I'll kind of steer this and y'all pipe in with questions too. I want to know, was it staged? Because, just like before January 6th, when he said, we'll be wild, come to DC, blah, blah, blah. He was truth socialing and messaging all over the place, like going live in an hour, all hell's going to break loose, and projecting all, he's like the person you tell, he's like the brother you tell what you got mom for Christmas and you tell him not to tell and he can't wait to tell, like he's got to tell the secret. I want to know, and because he's close with Flynn and Eric Prince and all those people, I want to know, was this staged? All thoughts and prayers with the people who were unalived or injured. He probably doesn't even care about that. He doesn't care. He didn't care that someone was unalived January 6th. And they're, the way they're trying to spin it on Biden after saying presidential immunity, you can go after your political enemies. Oh no, except for Trump. Was this staged? Was this a bunch of crisis actors? We know he pays people to be at his rally, and the reactions of some of the people behind him were just stupid. The other thing too with Secret Service, like if anyone was around when Reagan had the attempt on him, Secret Service, if you look at the videos of it, Secret Service is cramming his head down and shoving him in a car and getting him the hell out of there. They don't cower down lower than Mr. Fist Pump in the air looking like he's at Iwo Jima raising the flag. It looks so staged and so photo opt. I want to know, was it staged?
For what it's worth, he was debuting something new at his rallies because he's normally so repetitive. It says exactly what he said before. But they had just put up giant graphs about immigration on either side. And you and I wouldn't get excited about that, but in his little pointed head, who knows?
Like I said, I cannot
Well,
get in on these readings, but just a public service announcement. I'm required to take active shooter training twice a year. If you are ever in a situation where there is an active shooter, don't stand up. Get on the fucking ground, please. Just public service announcement. And I'm just going to shut up and mute myself.
Other things like an AR-15 shoots armor-piercing bullets. It wouldn't just nick your ear. Sorry. Even if it grazed you, it would take more than that out. What are you getting, Autumn?
If it was staged, it was what is that? What was that phrase? The gang that couldn't shoot straight? The gang that this is awful. This is absolutely awful. And there are real families suffering, which we all know. I do have, he was up there. He was in a very weak position. Obviously, bad things happened from high up. He's going to try to spin this to make a lot of money. But I'm not getting a lot of like underhanded behind the scenes. So I pulled some more, and I've got that Secret Service. I know it seems staged, but frankly, what I'm getting is Secret Service really is embarrassed. And there are people being chewed out and heads gonna roll and whatever other cliche you want to throw in there. So correct me if I'm wrong, but when I read on this, what I get is basically Donald Trump. He has always been he's against gun control, and this is what happens. And it was just a matter of one idiot getting lucky in a small town and finding a gap in security.
Do you concur, Boo Boo's in Kitty?
He's like, no, I don't agree with any of you because you're not paying me any attention.
What you getting, Johnny?
No, I get it. It was a real attack. The Five of Swords, Page of Swords, there was a disturbed individual and dishonorable behavior, even though the target is who the target is. Rumor has it he was not nicked by a bullet. He was hit by teleprompter glass, is what they said. To me, though, it still feels very strange because he is a very big target. And if you got that close, you would have thought you would have hit him. But I do get that it was an actual attack.
I get yes, it was staged. I get yes that there was like a network involved that they're like trying to cover up. But there's like a whole bunch of money behind it too. I get yes. Someone that's caught up in this is going to blab. So we're going to hear something about somebody that's caught up in this. But I get that this was planned for quite a while. There's structure to it. So that I'm getting a yes. It was staged. I feel like, it's kind of like when JFK, in Dallas, like the whole grassy knoll versus, one shot from the pencil factory behind. It's like, was there more than just the 21-year-old kid on the roof, which, I mean, Secret Service, a low roof like that, they would have been looking at all that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
They have all these pictures about the trajectory of where Secret Service was looking. And if you're looking over there, you would have saw him. But at the same time, when you're staring straight ahead, who's to tell you what you're looking at? And so there's also
Service should have secured the entire site, everything near it. So there's a failure. I'm not saying I'm team fake or team it happened. I can't comment on that, but the people in the back that didn't get the message the first time, because I'm already seeing in the chat, I cannot talk about this whole situation. I can't talk about it. So that's why it's on them. All I'm saying, Johnny, is there's a failure in security somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had that perimeter on lockdown with a 300 fucking mile radius. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
And there's some guy apparently that was informing people on the scene that there's somebody on the roof. And that happened apparently 4 minutes before it happened, and nobody still did anything. So I don't know. Also, I question too, because if you are a bystander, they're at the rally and you're saying there's somebody on the roof. Well, there's somebody on this one too. And then there's somebody on that one too. How do you know that one's not Secret Service and this one is? Now he wasn't in uniform. So I don't know. The whole thing has a very odd vibe to it, but
there were also people at the scene that they thought were like National Guard and stuff, and yet they had no insignias on their sleeves or anything to demark, like, what level or anything. And to me, that screams like Eric Prince kind of crap. These former
secret security.
Yeah. Like they didn't want you to know that they weren't really, military or official police or anything.
So just to clarify, I just did a grand tableau on the idiot on the 28th of last month. This was not in there. There was something around a woman that gets unalived or is seriously ill, but it's not him. It's on a diagonal. So, but there's no weapons. There's no anything around him. He's down here. The whip is way up here. The scythe is way over here. See what I'm saying? So he's not, there's nothing here that would have prompted me to say he is in danger. He's not anywhere around that sort of stuff. So for the GT, just go back and watch it. I did it on June 28th, but it wasn't in there that I could see.
And the one I did, so for a tarot tableau, what I would look at for something like this is tower is an accident. Strength would be more so of an attack if I'm going to use this system, because it's an overpowering of something in the negative. And so in strength, though, is the chariot. Chariot is not an attack. It's more like bullying your friends type thing, or trying to make a person see your side through force. Strength is also in Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune has nothing to do with an attack either. Where the tower lies is with the woman. It's in Empress. Now, Empress also governs your body, your physical body. So if there was some sort of assault upon his body, it would have been an accident and not. So that means if this whole thing was going on, that person would have been aiming at somebody else and hit him by accident, which is not what this says, but that's what that would have to be for this to match. So I don't get this either in his reading, oddly enough.
Well, what's interesting too, like if they shot a teleprompter and he got hit by glass shrapnel, I want to see the photos with shattered glass all over the place. I never saw a busted out teleprompter or anything. You know, I want to see, like, there were no photos of marking off the area. You know, when that happened to Reagan, thank you, Joanne. When that happened to Reagan, they were blocking off, blocks and
that I didn't understand. What's with the church huddle, and y'all heads are here, and his head is up here. If somebody is shooting at him, why didn't they? I don't know if it was protocol and they needed to find out where the person was coming from first, but it's like, why don't you get him off the stage? Like, I didn't know what I'm saying is protocol is. I didn't understand if it was bunker in place until we figure out, because we don't want to run into the line of bullets or something. But why are we just standing here? Like, get him out of there. That part I did not understand whatsoever.
I mean, this is the coward Captain Bone Spurs that wouldn't serve in Vietnam. And we know he's a coward. He backs down, if he's pushed, like you see it in depositions and stuff. He's not the type of person that would stand up and fist pump and everything unless he knew he was okay. Secret Service, like I said, during Reagan, they're all pushing his head down, getting him below them. They're protecting him. They're over him and cramming him in a car. There was none of that. They were all squatting lower than Trump. And it's like, yeah, okay, just make a bigger mark.
Now, in reality, you are also supposed to have a person that cooperates with you. He's not supposed to stand up like some whack-a-mole and fist pump and all of this. He's supposed to get down too. But it's not like, this is something that he goes through a lot, so he doesn't have that much kind of training. But at the same time, it I don't know. It's just such a strange.
And why were his shoes up? He was like, I got to get my shoes. I got to get my shoes. Hello, you weren't hit hard. You weren't knocked out of your shoes. What the hell?
I just throw a couple of things in, if that's okay. Yeah. He actually, the reason he dropped as quickly as he did, and he may have lost one, because he lost one of his shoes. One of his shoes came off. You have to remember that, as dumb as this is, he was actually, remember when he was in wrestling? He actually got knocked down. I was talking to Sarah, and Sarah was talking about it. And because her husband and her family watch a lot of that. So they saw all those Trump wrestling things. And she's like, yeah, they nailed him, but he learned how to drop. And so when he did, it's possible that's when one of his shoes slipped off. You also have to remember, he's not really ground down in that shoe. He's wearing lifts. His heel is already far too close to the top. So it's easy for his shoes to slip off. So
they're leaning forward in his lifts.
Exactly. And yeah, it was, and as far as he was standing there, and somebody was putting their hand like on top of his head, like over, like it was raining. And it was like, why would you? And so that was a bit frustrating. But what really frustrated me was over on X. One of the Secret Service people who was near the front was at one point leaning down, probably trying to reach something as Trump had gotten up, and they were said, yeah, look at the woman. She's ducking out of the way. She's not. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
It almost looked like he was posing with Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It's like, okay, he's got his mug shot. Now he's got his Iwo Jima with the flag shot, fist raised. I don't know. It screams to me like Hitler too, but Hitler had an assassination attempt on him too.
What we have now is campaign fodder, basically.
Oh yeah.
Because now this is Biden's fault and this type of stuff. Can we ask, where are we going from here on his side? Are they going to try to rev this? Because mind you, this is a package. This is a present for him now.
Yeah.
Because now he's the martyr, and now like 2 minutes later, they were trying to blame Biden for this and blame Biden for that. So where did they go from his side now?
Yeah, from trying to say Pelosi's husband was attacked in a gay escapade. It's like, okay, Trump, was this a gay escapade for you? You know, showing no sympathy.
No, we're good, because the Republican National Convention starts tomorrow, and the astrology still stinks. And because of that, the astrology for the entire 4-day convention stinks.
You have a Mars-Uranus conjunction with, what is it, Argol, the sun that is associated with Gargons, like Medusa, which is what Johnny calls Trump, the Medusa. So like a lot of people literally losing their heads right now.
Johnny, that's what you should be for Halloween, Medusa. Take me with you to the Halloween store when you go.
Princess Misunderstood.
Well, there's an op-ed, and I think it's the New York Times saying, oh, this is fodder for him to say to black voters, see, I survived a gunshot. You know, I'm like you. It's like, oh my God, they're spinning it every which way they can to try to get black voters. I don't know. It's crazy.
You weren't shot by the police, so no.
Yeah.
7 of Cups in the Strength. It's put out more confusion, put out more misinformation, put out more. The high priest is in the word of warning. Put out more. This more and more and more. This is where he's going to go. I mean, we know that already. But the 5 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups, though, this does not gain supporters, though. I don't care what you see, what you hear, what you read. There's this campaign right now. I've seen it already. Oh, I'm supporting him now because now he needs us. No, you were supporting him then. This did not turn you into a Trump supporter. I guarantee you it didn't. So there is some information about him now gaining people, gaining supporters, all this. And keep in mind, too, that Donald Trump does not need more voters. Biden needs less. And so what they're doing now with the age thing and the Biden should drop out thing is they're trying to take away people because he cannot gain any more support. That's not going to actually happen, but there's a lot more lies, and it has something to do with the officers, because this is my card for officers or people in uniform, and they're doing that already. This was an FBI, CIA hit. and they wouldn't have missed. Okay. And not only that, it is a lot easier for them to unalive you in your house. In that way, there's no witnesses, there's no none of this. That way, we can just have the speculation train and say, well, what happened to Donald Trump on the night of the 5th at 8 p.m.? Nobody knows because nobody was there, type of thing, instead of trying to take you down in front of all your cult members. So there is a bunch of lies here, gossip about the people in uniform. It does not work, though. Five of Cups. This goes in that direction of failure.
And like I said earlier, he is not a martyr. He is not a hero. He is the cause of all this shit. So if you want it to go back to normal, vote blue up and down the vote blue for the dog catcher. Okay, like just vote blue and take people with you to vote. Get people registered, get people to vote. That's it.
Yeah. What you getting, Autumn?
I am getting there's this weird, it's going to be this weird see, when there are shootings like this, what is the natural thing to do? What can we do to stop this from happening again? You know, do we need to get more legislation about guns? Do we need to, you know, what do we need to do? That isn't what they're going to do. And there's going to be this weird disconnect between what they're arguing and the common sense of the situation. They're also, so they're going in the convention, they're not going to win over women. This is my card for voters, specifically women voters. Yes, this was dangerous for Trump. It was. I mean, he and I understand being upset about this. Anybody who goes through this has a right to be upset about it. But going in there, I'm curious how big the bandage is going to be. I'm wondering how, you know, and
Trump Van Gogh.
yeah, exactly. They're not going to handle this well because they just end up going off the deep end. And a lot of the deep end and going far to the right, women are like, no, just no. So this, if anything, this pushes them farther to the right. And there's this weird disconnect because nobody needs a semi-automatic long gun. Nobody. Hunters don't need it. Nobody needs that. But they won't. Yeah, it's just weird.
I get this is going to be like Celebrity Apprentice. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. It's like they're going to try to make him the victim, you know, bullied and victimed. But you know they're quite secure. The challenge is to heal the party and heal the campaign. I get he's dejected by a lot of people that had been supporters, and I am getting like the Republicans are in two camps, as Johnny said. You know, with the chariot, there's two pulling that chariot. You have to pull together. They're constricted by him. They're they're dealing with the devil here. And I get within a few weeks of the convention, they're looking at things very, very differently. They may get hung up by him. It's not looking good. It's like they know they don't have the vote to get him elected.
Does the convention start tomorrow, you said, Autumn?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he hasn't announced who his VP is. And he's saying that he's waiting for the convention. He said that's how they used to do it, so that you could like build up ratings. It's literally, he's treating it like he's literally sending out messages to supporters saying, should I vote here? Should I vote in this poll? Should I announce who my vice president's going to be at this rally? How about this rally? Vote, you know, at the poll here, spend your money. That he's been turning this into this whole thing. And his big speech doesn't come until Thursday evening, I believe. And so he's going to come out there and he's going to be, I mean, we will often call it a coronation if we kind of know somebody's going to be the candidate, but he's going to be expecting an actual, like, the equivalent of an actual giant gold crown. And
when he went to Britain, he probably tried to steal the crown jewel so he can like coronate himself. Like, I mean, come on. I was talking to a client today that I did a reading for, and she was saying about the convention tomorrow. Oh God, I had the thought on the tip of my tongue. What the hell was she saying? Well, anyways, her and I were talking about the convention tomorrow, and I'll think of it later when it has nothing to do with anything. It'll come back to me. But
I mean,
I remember in my tableau, it shows that it's going to be a shit show. There's going to be a lot of fighting at the convention. Oh, that Susan Collins said that she is not going to be a delegate for Trump.
Yeah,
that's what she told me today.
She's not voting for him. She's not endorsing him.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, you know, he's been tossing around like JD Vance and little Marco Rubio and stuff. And you know, Trump is pettier than we are. You know, let's face it. And they said he'll never pick JD Vance because he has facial hair, and Donald Trump doesn't like facial hair. I'm like, that's some petty ass crap.
And JD
he is not pettier than I. He is childish. That's different.
He wears eyeliner too. You know, so just saying.
Where do we go from here? Because I'm done with that part, unless you have another question.
I just want to know, like, will there be any surprises in the investigation? Because the FBI's taken over the investigation. Like, usually they put little markers, those little yellow markers out for everywhere there's a shell, you know, and none of that was going on. Like, good grief, what kind of investigation is this? You know, there were police and stuff all over the place too, because this was, you know, former president.
Well, he didn't get shot at all. He didn't get nicked by no automatic rifle bullet.
Mm-mm. I think he squashed a movie pellet against his head.
Like so.
Made it look like he was.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood it because I was focused on this. Do you honestly think he wasn't shot?
No.
I didn't see flesh dangling. So, any surprises in the investigation by the FBI, and then we'll let this go.
No. I think they got, if this is staged, they already got their scapegoat, the little boy. If it's real, then they already got their subject, the little boy. And so all you can do now is say if there's somebody else involved, if there was, and there right now it's speculation that he acted alone. And so I don't get any surprises. There's the Four of Cups is kind of what you expect is the Four of Cups. It's kind of a same old type of card. There's the Strength, the Judgment card, and the Ten of Pentacles. There will be some sort of, this is not going to take a long time. I don't believe there's like a network of information kind of already. No, there's the Ace of Swords. So we will have some clarity and truth, I would say. The Six of Wands in the warning. This doesn't help the person at the center of attention, though, for whatever reason. So I don't get any surprises, though. No shockers, no none of that. But we'll see.
I'm not getting any surprises either. These are regular investigators doing their thing. The big card here is Temperance. Just methodically, just going through, and after that, it's small. It's Two of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Four of Cups. They just feel kind of weak. Like this person was pathetic. Yeah. I mean, I want to have empathy for young people, especially young people who are struggling. But yeah, this no, no, you don't. No.
I see Justin Rivera in the chat. Hi, Justin.
There's something about this investigation that's not going to be finished. Like, I don't think America will see the whole thing when they say it's complete. I don't think it's complete. I think something may grow out of this, but it's later, because there's like some kind of sneaking around, covering up stuff and laying low. I think there will be surprises later, but I think it's after the election. So I think the investigation might get revisited, maybe in turning up fake electors again in the next round of elections. They uncover something about this. I don't know. It's crazy. So stay tuned. More to come next year.
Wait 1 second here. If this is a conversation that you feel as though you cannot observe without making some snide remark, then watch something else. Period. Next.
So are we off that train now? Is it safe to move on to anything else? Or are you guys still huh?
I'm ready.
You're ready? The rest of you know other questions on the fiasco? Okie dokie, well, let's move on. Now I can participate. Okay, so Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, I guess, sent a letter to Merrick Garland and said, we would like to request a special counsel to be appointed to investigate good boy Clarence Thomas over there. First question to that. Are they going to have a special counsel investigate Clarence Thomas? That's where I want to start. Will the DOJ appoint a special counsel to investigate Clarence Thomas?
And no, I'm not an expert on gunshots, for the person in the chat with the snotty comments. But I have shot guns before, and I know the damage that an armor-piercing bullet can do because I have shot them before.
Let's deal with it now.
Yeah, it's one of our regulars, actually.
I don't care.
But if you're triggered, you watch something else. You don't have to watch this.
Don't play with me, I won't play with you.
I have literally just forgotten what the question was. What was
Special counsel for Clarence.
Special counsel, yes. Okay, thank you.
Wait, what about the special counsel?
Will they appoint?
Will the DOJ appoint a special counsel to investigate Clarence Thomas? That was the question.
Clarence, that's who it was. I was like,
the only thing that I can think of in his defense is that he is so freaking corrupt that he just forgot he's done it so much that, I took that $800,000 vacation last year. I took another $900,000 vacation, earlier this year. And he's been doing it for decades. That's me giving him the benefit of the doubt for his failure to report that stuff. That he's done it so much that he just forgot. But then at the same time, he's put out financial disclosures for other things that were nowhere near as high as these gifts that he was getting. So
yeah, I forgot to put that $500,000 vacation on my paperwork. Oh yeah, I forgot to put that.
I forgot to put
giant thing RV.
that he bought me an RV. Oh, I forgot to put on there that he bought my mom's house. Oh, I forgot to put on there that he paid for my nephew's tuition. Like,
Oops.
yeah, it's just. Mm-mm.
Well, I could go.
Please go.
What I get, the upshot is yes, but not before the election. They're too afraid of what it might do to the election. So even Merrick Garland has come out and said the things that are already moving, like the legal, the indictments and charges going forward for Trump, anything that's already in the pipeline can continue on. But the closer we get to, he is going to honor that, 60, 90-day blackout coming up to an election. So there's eventually, because it's just so egregious. It's just such a huge thing. And when it happens, oh boy, it's a big deal. It is a bigly deal. Aggressive law enforcement, whoever's going to do it, they are not playing around. And
hopefully there will be like another Jack Smith, because
what
he has
what
exactly.
And what I'm getting is people like your Alitos, your Thomases, what have you, they are in for a rude awakening when they can't just say, no, I won't. No, I don't feel like it. It's like, no, you will. And be like, well, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am? Why? Have you forgotten? Do you not know who you are?
I saw it in the Quack Clayton Bigsby. If you all have not seen Dave Chappelle play Clayton Bigsby, do yourself a favor and watch it, because that's Clarence Thomas right there. Clayton Bigsby is the character that Dave Chappelle plays that is a blind, black, white supremacist. Wrap your head around that. He's blind, so he doesn't know he's black, and he's the leader of the KKK. So, I mean, you got to give it to Dave Chappelle, but, that's Clayton Bigsby. So
I'm with you, Autumn. I think it's not till after the election. There's unfinished work here, and they're kind of stuck because they don't want Republicans, commenting. So they may be doling out a little work and doing a little research on him from their own people within DOJ, which they can do, investigations. So I get they returned to the work after the election, and I'm actually getting a female special counsel that they structure, and that's a yes card for me. They structure a female around it, but immediately a no until after the election. Trouble.
I get afterwards. There is an action, though, that is taking place. Ace of Wands. The problem is the timing, which I still am not completely mad at that, because that gives hope, fingers crossed, toes and eyes and everything else, that means the House flips. And that means Democratic support is a lot stronger for having actions taken in the first place, even with the DOJ. And so maybe Garland goes elsewhere, or if he stays there, maybe things just move along a little faster. So I don't get right now, but this is not a no. It takes a lot of work and a lot of numbers, a lot of pressure, a lot of that stuff. So we'll see.
I get a yes. The House, the book, and the ring. It's going to be hush hush. We're not going to hear about it, but it is a commitment that is made. So that's a yes. So my next question. This is just me speculating. Hold on. That's the wrong button. This is just me speculating, but I mean, where the hell are my notes? Oh, I closed it. Okay. What will the special counsel find in the investigation?
On Thomas?
On Thomas, because
Besides the fact he went to Russia, to St. Petersburg, and
you remember Donald Trump's sister, who was a federal judge, who got busted cheating on her taxes, and instead of being prosecuted, she just kind of stepped aside.
Resigned. She retired. She retired.
So what is the special counsel investigation into Thomas going to find?
Bohemian Grove trips and trips to St. Petersburg. We already know about all that. Like, it's all out there. But is there a quid pro quo they can find? Like, I agree to hear this case.
I could go. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting, this is going to rock his world. As in World and Wheel of Fortune, what has come before is you're done. Right in the middle, the thief. That he's a thief. That he has been living high on the hog. Very, 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 very high. And they're just going to systematically just work through everything and hold him accountable. And he is not going to know how to handle it because he's just used to getting his own way. And he is used to living in a certain style. So that when there's actual law enforcement, that it's not him making the decisions, he does not know. And with this nine of cups, it's almost like they have all of this information just lined up, just like on display. Exhibit A and B and C and D and F and triple Z and on and on. They have all this stuff, and he's just his gast is flabbered. I mean, just cannot wrap his head around it.
I liked his gas is flabbered. That's hilarious. There is a betrayal here of there's a few things, actually a bunch of things. We don't need cards for that one, but there is a line of things almost coming from one in particular person. And it's one right after the other. So it's like you took money and you took the house and you took the car and you took the dog and it's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of things, but they were done for quid pro quo. So I need you to help me do this and I'll give you that. Because this is also a card of balance, but it's a card for providing for future things. And so there is a betrayal of his oath, or the betrayal of his office, or the betrayal of his whatever. There's the Four of Cups and the Two of Wands. There's also something coming from overseas. And this has something to do with maybe a internet company or an internet provider, something like that too. There's somebody over there that does something in communications or telecommunications or satellites or something of that nature. They have a lot of interest in doing something here or something of that nature, or investing in something here. And so they also have some sort of apartment or apartment buildings, almost like you remember when the Russians were buying Trump Tower apartments or something. It's kind of like that thing, to where they invest a lot of money in him or something that he has or his wife has or her friends have. Something like that. They invest a lot of money into that so that they can get in good graces with this person. They're not some big giant shot, like an Elon type of thing, but they got enough money to try to make an influence type of thing here. There's communications when it comes to family rights as well. There's some sort of, if you asked him about family rights off the record, I think his opinion would be different than the way he votes. Just his opinion, mind you. But there is.
This is the man that would vote against. This is a man
interracial marriage, which he has.
Which he has one, and this is a man that would vote to bring back segregation, regardless of the fact that you a black man in the Supreme Court. He would do that and carve himself out an exception.
Mm-hmm.
Rules for thee, but not for me. Do you see?
Just say you want a separate bedroom, dude.
Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine being married to Ginny? No.
There's structural things that are going to come out. Sorry, Johnny, were you through?
Oh, that's manipulations and donations. There's the magician, skill, power, talent, and Six of Pentacles donations. So
yeah, I get there are surprises that will be illuminated. They've tried to keep secret, from the investigators are going to uncover a lot of surprises, and it's going to grow. And I kept hearing, this is a tree. I kept hearing Bohemian Grove, things they've tried to block them from. I'm getting two things. So I got that magician too. Manipulation of, this is a school card for me. So manipulation of electoral college votes. So I think they're going to uncover some either verbal or written documentation on, hey, if this goes to the higher court, here's what we want you to do about electoral college votes, in the White House, right? And running for the White House. I think it's also manipulation of dark money and donors and stuff. So he could end up with some major lawsuits. And I think the two wives, Alito's and Ginny, are looking at like some major legal problems and stuff. This isn't done. Maybe they try to escape over to Bali or wherever they went in Asia for their little vacation.
I get a lot, more than one, financial entanglements with some friends as well as executives. But the biggest thing is financial burdens, and serious financial burdens. It's all financial. The tree, the bear, which is your executives and your finances, and then the cross. And then here's the two friends, dog and then crossroads. There's two of these, but there's more than one of the executives. But it's all financial problems. So from this spread, I don't know if this is taxes, like he failed to do this on his taxes, but it shows guilt around financial stuff. So I want to know, what is going to be the outcome of the investigation? Like, the investigation is done. They found what they found. What happens now?
He committed
love
tax
of money,
fraud.
no evil.
And his wife makes a crap ton of money too.
Yeah, millions.
Millions.
Not enough.
And it's not enough. I'm telling you, greed is the root of all evil, dude. Just be happy with what you have. Don't be envious of other people.
Oh,
That's how
please.
these bastards get in trouble,
I can say I don't get it, I get it, but it's still gross. I don't get it. Back it down.
Glamping in Walmart parking lots. Who said that?
I don't get that something horrible happens to him as a result of the investigation part. There is the Lover's card and the Two of Swords, so you kind of have some cutoff of relationships. These are not cut off from relationships. These are more like, hey, let's stop talking to each other because people are going to start speculating. You know, there's some sort of blocking of relationships there. He has some sort of rough transition though, so he will be tumbled about a bit. All that aside, word of warning, though, is the Tower, which means that which is built on a faulty foundation eventually crumbles. It does not come from the investigation necessarily. It comes from some young person. I won't speculate who, but they may have a moniker that goes by initials of sorts. But there's a young person here that has some sort of Tower moment for him. So we will see, because that's a long shot too. But let's see.
I think they'll force him out eventually. Because there's like a whole network around this, and I get there's also illumination like on a foreign leader that we start looking at differently that's also been hidden. So like someone overseas, I get very quickly it'll cut him out, but I also get changes in laws around elections and monies and contributions, donations, gifts, that they're going to shrink it way down, like what's allowed. There's just like foolish abundance going on there in the court system and everything. So a lot of that will come to an end. Will be cracked down legally, like put a law in place that stops it.
For the person in the chat that said something about he should be ashamed or whatever, girlfriend, you can't shame the shameless. You can't shame the shameless. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can't do it. It's impossible. Like, I get secondhand embarrassment, I mean, come on. What'd you get, Autumn?
I would love for Justice Thomas to be convicted of bribery.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. I would love nothing more than that. And I'm looking, and I've got theft, and it was nothing. It was just a little gift.
The first one. What is that?
This is a 7 of swords. This is a thief card.
Okay.
And then this is the. It wasn't a big thing. It was just a little. This is the charity card, or just a little. Oh, it was nothing. It was nothing. Well, your idea of nothing and our idea of nothing are not the same thing. This wasn't a cup of coffee. And this is the 8 of Pentacles, which is usually about working, but in the Pulp Tarot specifically, this guy this is a con. He's got this woman to disrobe, to paint her, but he's not painting her. He's painting something simple so he can ogle the naked lady. And from all of the pictures on the wall, you can see he's done it before. So that's right in the middle. He'll be on the defensive, but then I just get a Fool card. So I'm like, wait a minute, because the card for the reading was Judgment. I like that. Card for the clarification, 3 of Swords. Okay, let's hold, but this Judgment feels like it's public judgment, and this is like maybe he loses his job, but Magician, not listening, just refusal, burden, and I'm like, really
I pulled a line of 7. I got the Tower, the Book, the Anchor, the Moon, the Fox, then the Garden, and the Woman. There's an arrogance to him, Tower, arrogance, because he knows that his appointment is a lifestyle. It's lifelong, his career and his job. That's the Tower, the Book, the Anchor, the Moon, and the Fox. The arrival of his career at work. it's a lifestyle. What that's going to do, that investigation is going to open up a whole can of worms to the society or the network where the wife is at. Right there. And then I look at the tower, the anchor, the fox, and the woman. There's something going on where her job is influencing his court, and secrets will come out and put into like the big spotlight about this organization. At the end of the day, if it's saving his ass, I don't see him resigning or getting pushed out. I don't see impeachment here. It's just going to be like, yeah, so what are you going to do about it? So this is Jenny Thomas here, the space cadet. And what's he going to do? See you later, Jenny. Like, like, he's it's that arrogance about him. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And Justice Roberts, the same thing. What are you going to do?
Thank you, Nina. And I have to pause for a second. Happy birthday, Sharon Sipe. I'm catching that in the chat. Sharon is our moderator who always posts our links for us to our websites and channels. So happy birthday, Sharon.
Is it Sharon's birthday because we tortured Lucky Girl for 2 weeks straight when it was not her birthday?
I thought of that, and she said, thank you, everyone. So I assume we are correct.
Okay. Happy birthday, Sharon.
Happy birthday. So my next question in regards to Clarence Thomas, I posted it on my community page for those of you that have not seen it and would like to. I posted the C-SPAN video of AOC giving the floor speech when she introduced the articles of impeachment against Clarence Thomas. It was perfect. She laid the case out against Clarence and Alito perfectly. You got to be dumb to not follow her train of thought. My question is, how does Clarence Thomas feel? We know that this is not going to go anywhere. We've already read on this before. Nothing happens until the new Congress comes in because this is probably not even going to make it to the floor for a vote. But she has him in the crosshairs. Like, she's watching those two and going, you're on my list. Okay. So how does Clarence Thomas feel about articles of impeachment being brought against him?
Especially when we constantly got this. Democrats should do something. They are. I mean, it's not always effective, sure, because the numbers are what they are. But somebody's at work over there, and I'm glad she is.
She was so detailed and so clear.
Makes you want to move to New York.
So
not till they get rid of George Santos.
Oh, so the question is, how does Clarence Thomas feel about all of this?
About AOC presenting
About
the
the
articles of impeachment
Impeachment.
succinctly.
She's like a bug to him. It's just nothing's going to come of it. It's just performative. You know, those little people over in the house. Do not underestimate this man's arrogance, because when I see the justice card here, he thinks he is justice. He thinks he's it. There's nothing, he's not a part of justice. He's it. And his word is, even though he's just a person, his word is law. Well, he is going to very much end up on the defensive, but kind of like Trump, if you're expecting some moment of revelation where it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. The arrogance, he thinks he is so far above everybody else. It's disgusting.
Absolutely. Strength on the bottom. He thinks he's higher up than her. That, you know, he was watching it. I guess he was watching it, and maybe a little thought she was confused about changes he made on his forms for money that he had taken, but he thinks he's so far above it. He's so corrupt. I get that he may connect with some Republicans to put a spin on this, that this is another Biden hit job. But he's casting like judgment on it and everything, but he better watch out because this is going to come back and grow. This is going to become a big thing after the election. So be smug all you want, Clarence.
He feels scrutinized, but he feels strong that the strength card does not teach that, and this is purely sexist, so keep that in mind. So you can ignore what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. The strength card does not teach that masculine energy is stronger than feminine. It teaches the opposite. It teaches the feminine energy is always stronger than the masculine, as in subtlety and meekness is stronger than harshness or rashness or brashness. And so in this case, he feels as though he is the one that is winning, when in the end, it will be the feminine energy. There's something here with the Five of Cups. There will be regrets.
That's a pretty card, Johnny. Is
It
that
is.
a mermaid? Is
It
that a
is.
mermaid? Can you
It
put it
is.
up closer?
It's a mermaid.
Oh, that's pretty. I love that.
There will be some regrets that he has, but this is down the line. And so we still have a long haul to go before this is the star card, futuristic stuff. Before anything dramatically changes, there's the death card, but it will change. It just takes a minute.
You're wearing his shirt. Take note, Clarence Thomas. Take note. Right there. Mm-hmm. It's like what we say in Spanish, tapar el sol con un dedo, meaning try to cover up the sun with your finger. You know, like when you go outside, you put your thumb up on and you close your eye, like only a fool would think you can get, that you can do that. It's kind of like,
It's gone. No, it's not. It's still
no,
there.
it's not. So I have the man in the tower. Man that is arrogant. Not for long. He's gonna knock you down a peg. Because if this is arrogant, it got cut down right here. That's gonna be like, there's some comfort here because he thinks he's safe for now until this hits, because there's a transition that doesn't leave him very optimistic. So if you look at the man here, the scythe and the sun, you're not so optimistic now, are you, buddy? Do you see what I'm saying? So he's arrogant, but it's almost like, shit, they caught me. You know what I mean? So I don't see him being very optimistic. I'm seeing him getting, I wouldn't say his one-uppings, but getting checked. Do you see what I'm saying? So
because yes, he's arrogant, but think about it this way too. He has the ability to be because of the job that he has. What are you going to do to him?
Exactly. Well, in the Constitution, Congress has oversight, but the Congress is so divided that they're just complacent, and they're like, "What are you going to do? You can't impeach us. You don't have the votes. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?"
Well, here's the thing, though. Okay, this is why this is more than just a saying. It's absolute true. You think that Congress is the only thing that has power over you,
The
and that will
DOJ
never,
does too.
ever be true.
And in that reading, it was man, tower, site. So that's his arrogance getting knocked down. Ship and sun. Who took you on those vacations? Who bought you the RV? What's this? And what's all this stuff here with why did you transition over to energy? Meaning the Chevron, or was it Chevron doctrine or Exxon?
Yeah, the Chevron.
So the sun is energy. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like all of that stuff, the trips, the energy, the vehicles that he was, the RV that he was purchased, all of that. That's when he's like, oh shit, so.
The bad part of it is, he didn't claim it on his taxes. He didn't report it as a judge that he took all these gifts and everything. But the people giving him the money, like there's no legal consequence for them. It's like they can do donations all they want.
I would like to find a friend who would like to donate me an RV that's worth more than a fucking house. Okay? Like that. I mean, if you want to be generous, please, by all means, I'm all ears. The problem is I don't have any power to give you anything back in exchange. That's the difference. And those
My
friendships
kids could
did
use
not
a new
become
kitty
out
condo.
until after he became a justice. So,
not to derail things, but lifetime of readings.
yeah.
Lifetime readings. If someone wants to give Becca an RV worth more than a house, I'll bet you could get a lot of readings for that. Just throwing that out there.
You know, I mean, they paid him. Rose Blue is saying it was a $276,000 RV. That's what it cost them to net them billions of dollars with the ruling that he made.
But that's just one of the gifts, you know?
Make that make sense. Make it make sense, because I don't get it. The math ain't mathin'. So my next question is, how does Samuel Alito feel about articles of impeachment being brought against him?
God, he's smug.
This is just frustrating. To be honest, they're so full of themselves, and he has his people as well who he hobnobs with, but any kind of the holding them accountable, he's like, but I am the law, and whatever decisions made, I mean, he's on the defensive, but it's just meh, page of ones. And there might be something there eventually, because they've got they'll be able to get the goods on him. It doesn't feel, this is more like a leave, you know, I'm leaving to go spend more time with my family. It doesn't feel like these people being held accountable the way they should. But please prove me wrong. Please, 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 please.
He feels bullied a little bit, you know, a little bit trapped in this rough road he's going on, and he's like kind of biding his time, because you know he does feel a betrayal, and he does feel defensive about it. But I think he knows that on both sides of the aisle in the government, there are people that have taken money. I mean, look at Menendez and stuff, and you know, money from overseas even. So
he knows that there's members of Congress that insider trade all the time, and there's no consequence.
Right. So he's hoping there's more illumination on that, because it would distract from the money that he has taken underhanded, and so be it. He thinks it'll all come to an end, like it won't go anywhere. But I don't know, maybe he'll get some of his wealthy people to talk about money they've given to Democrats to take away from it or something.
And to my understanding, his gifts have not been anywhere near the level that, I mean, Clarence Thomas hopped on Elon Musk's spaceship and just took off to the moon. That's how extreme Clarence Thomas is compared to everybody else. I don't think Samuel Alito is anywhere near.
His mom's house bought and paid for, and
I think Samuel Alito is way below $1 million, where Clarence Thomas, they're estimating 6 at this point, you know. So
Johnny, save us. Please save us.
So I get the feeling, so he's hanging on here. The 4 of Pentacles. Now, there is no need for this energy unless paranoia is present. I don't think necessarily he would be afraid of AOC and her efforts. I think he's afraid of everything afterwards, because there's a whole bunch of stuff here with the Judgment card that is going to be resurrected. a whole bunch of stuff from the past that is going to look very, very damaging. The high priestess, also in the word of warning, means that this is where all your secrets lie. And all these are not necessarily, if you're trying to hide something, these are not the cards you want to see. The judgment is a resurrection, bringing something back from the dead, bringing something back from the past. The high priestess is like knowledge of the underworld, where the dead lies. So there's a whole bunch of skeletons in these closets that are about to come out, and it all has something to do with that little piece of paper or these little files that Homegirl has filed. There's a lot more work that he is doing. He's trying to call in some favors, is what I kept hearing. And so I don't know what that means just yet, but he's trying to call in some favors because he is paranoid. Now, does that mean that he's going to be taking down all this stuff? I don't get that just yet. But there is a transition for the leader here, and something does come to an end eventually. But a whole bunch of stuff behind closed doors are about to come out. And so not just the flag flying upside down and the crazy wife that you want to blame everything on her, like you didn't live there too. There's a whole bunch of stuff about to come out. So he's paranoid is what I get.
My wife is free to make her own decisions. Unless it comes to her own bodily autonomy, then I have the ultimate say. I mean, you talk about hypocrisy and a double standard. I get he doesn't give a shit. What he's worried about is the reports from investigative journalists that are going to come out and shine a lot of light on this one network and organization that he's a part of. And that network and organization has a lot to do with stuff that gets written down. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I don't know what this is, but it's
like Project 2025. The Heritage Foundation writes it
down. I don't know
down.
if it's Heritage or who, but there's a large organization here that's going to have a huge spotlight on them. And there's going to be a lot of reporting in the media and newspapers and journalists that are going to look into this. That's what he's worried about, is this organization getting the spotlight, not so much him. Like, he doesn't care. He just knows there's going to be a lot of media around that right there. So, speaking of Heritage Foundation, it's picking up steam. Regular folks that are not into politics, like all of us here, are starting to learn about Project 2025. They're getting the word out via social media. TikTok is on fire about the dangers of Project 2025. Right on page 5. It talks about jailing teachers and librarians for distributing material that they think should be censored. Think about that. We're going to start jailing teachers and librarians because how dare you read something that we do not approve of? You know, there's a page, I think it's on 528, getting rid of overtime pay, period. No overtime pay for anybody ever. There's another thing in there too. I think it's in like the 600s where it needs to go back to the traditional nuclear family of a working husband and a stay-at-home wife. Tell me, in what freaking reality, if you're not ultra wealthy, can a single man on his regular income support a wife and let's be generous, 2 kids? That's a lot of mouths to feed when
never mind
in frickin' 17 years.
Let's forget there are more women in this country than men. So what about all the single women? Who's going to take care of them?
Have fun paying your insurance for a family of 4 on one income. Have fun paying a mortgage and feeding 4 mouths and paying insurance
On 725.
On let's be generous, $60,000 a year. Have fun with that. I mean, the whole thing is freaking insanity, but there's a lot of light that's coming into Project 2025 and it's starting to circulate. Donald Trump has tried to distance himself. I don't know who they are, blah, 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 blah.
And then all these photos come up of him shaking hands with the guy.
The media has all the receipts. They're bringing up the Trump applauding the main guy, Kevin, what's his face, that was calling for civil war, basically. It'll be
Yeah.
bloodless if the left lets it,
And all the people in the White House that worked under Trump that were members of the Heritage Society.
Yeah, they were in his administration that are part of the Heritage Foundation behind Project 2025. I mean, the George Orwell couldn't have thought of a more crazy thing than what's in those papers right there. So I think last week on your channel, we read that this isn't going to go away. Like once Trump is gone, 2025 is still there because that's their manifesto. I want to know, I understand that everybody has a right to political speech or just speech in general. We don't have a right to do hate speech. We can't walk into a theater and scream fire or whatever. That's not covered. But I want to know, will there be any sort of, I don't want to say investigation because that seems like it's targeting a party for political views, but Johnny, help me out here.
Will there be some scrutiny, some public attention? Will there be some congressional attention, maybe?
There you go. Can we ask that?
Since they're the lawmakers?
Or specifically because the convention is starting tomorrow, are the Republicans really going to go off the deep end, really embrace all of this and really alienate voters?
Because to my understanding, there's already a task force by the Democratic Party to investigate Project 2025. There's a congressional task force. I think Ted Lieu is a part of it and some other people that I'm not familiar with that are trying to get details on it to kind of start legislating to curb this thing, but as an organization itself, I understand that they can't be investigated because now that's targeting a political opponent and that's not legal. But a lot of the shit that this think tank is coming up with is completely anti-democratic, and it's to their core wanting to rip down the entire government and make it into a theocracy. So I guess we can start with Johnny's question, Autumn, and then go to yours. Like, will there be any more scrutiny into the Heritage Foundation?
I mean, the big thing is to vote out anybody that supports it. That sends a big message to the Heritage Foundation that we're not trying your crap.
Even down to if it's on your ballot to vote for the local dog catcher and that son of a bitch is associated to those moms for hate at the school board or the Heritage Foundation, no.
Or Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get here. Is this my America card, Queen of Pentacles? There's the King of Pentacles. You have to treat your individual locations kind of like a business, if you will, to where you have to pay attention to the ins and outs because something is building upon something else. In Louisiana, some little city or whatever it was, there was a story a while ago where they basically said the people that we were appointing don't have to be voted in anymore, or whatever. Forget whatever little city that was. It was either Louisiana or Mississippi, one of them. And it wasn't like the governor or something like it was a little small position, but it is something that people needed to vote on. And apparently they've taken that away. And it's little bitty things like that sort of get pushed by the wayside because they're not federal or they're not big and they're not clickbaitish. And so, but those things build, and the Two of Wands is your blueprint. So you have to figure out where we start because everything builds upon that. And if you start with the bad foundation, that's when you get the tower. So that's what we need to pay attention to is the little bitty things. At least that's what the read is saying. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So pay attention to the little things because that's what's being built upon.
Yeah, I get like the plan's already off the ground. There's already a lot of emotional upset over the elimination on them, and Trump and the devil that he's partnered with the Heritage Foundation. and all the gaslighting about things that affect our lifestyles. Everybody looks at it differently here in America. They're ready to put on a fight for it. And, like it's ignoring the impoverished, it's ignoring the children. Everything's hidden and secret now, and it's all coming to light. It's like they'll get blocked over and over and over again. It may take a little while, but they'll get blocked over and over again at the ballots. What I'm getting.
So some of this shit is insanity. Like, besides trying to take away women's rights, which would require, to my knowledge, a constitutional convention to get rid of that amendment. But I'm sure the Supreme Court's like, yeah, fuck women, except for Amy Coney Barrett, because she gets the exception. What are you going to do when you're trying to raise a family on a single income? They've banned abortion nationwide and your wife just had a miscarriage. What are you going to do? Let your wife bleed out on the floor and die of sepsis because can't get medical? I mean, like, the insanity behind some of these things, banning pornography. Who gives a shit what you're spanking your monkey to? That's nobody's business. Like, the party of small government and personal property and personal, what do you call this? What do you call it? Privacy. They want in your bedroom.
Privatization.
Yeah, they want in your bedroom what you're doing in your private time. I mean,
there's too many people that reject what they offer. They're not going to get a foothold. When you think about like the popular vote that Hillary got, that Biden got, that Obama got, that all our Democratic, Al Gore even got, even though he lost the election, most Americans are more liberal, and they're not going to accept this.
Nope.
The problem is federally, we are progressive. Locally, we don't pay enough attention.
Exactly.
Or we're not engaged enough. And so it's great in New York and California and Oregon. We're a blue state too.
We're not safe here. If Project 2025 comes on board, we're fucked.
But you can't
the only option we have is go to Mexico or go to Canada for life if you're a woman. If you're a woman. And you better hope you have the funds to make that trip.
To make the trip in the first place.
It's insanity, Johnny. What did you get, Autumn?
I got that no matter what they think this plan is going to be more successful than it ultimately is going to be. And Democrats are on this, whether it's having hearings or trying to legislate to stop some of this stuff. But it doesn't stop the extremism. It's going to take time for our body politic to be purged of Trump extremism, because he gave people were allowed to embrace their inner
asshole. I'll say it for you. Their inner asshole.
But what I've got here ultimately is they can try. But ultimately, women voting.
Mm-hmm.
Women voting.
There is no reason to let a misogynist who has never gone to medical school, who couldn't find your fucking clitoris with a map, okay, have any say so in what you can and cannot do with your reproductive rights at all. That's like toxic misogyny at that point. I just saw the interview the other day, a couple of weeks ago, with the Texas husband. He's a talk show host whose wife had a miscarriage. She was turned down at the hospital. They kept turning her down. He came home. His wife was bleeding on the floor, dying of sepsis. This is the reality that they're wanting to put on everybody. And it's not just the girls that they're forcing to give birth to their rapist children. I don't see the Heritage Foundation stepping in to take care of those kids and feeding them. I don't see the fucking churches stepping in saying, oh, we'll take those kids. No, it's now what are you going to do? Let a 9-year-old drop out of elementary school to be a single mom? Oh, by the way, she's not old enough to work. I mean, make it make sense. What?
That's
Make it make sense. Vote. Yes, vote. I get they're going to be blocked. People are very passionate about their relationships, who they want to love, who they want to marry, and they're committed. So I don't get that there will be public scrutiny, and the more people learn, the more that this will be rejected. So Autumn, you had a question. You wanted to know, what was it?
I'm just curious how the convention. I want to know about the Republican convention. Are they just going to put people off? Are they just going to like?
I'm going to sit this one out because I covered it in the grand tableau, but you guys.
It's like, meaning, are they just going to ram through their agenda, or are they?
Yeah, is what they're talking about going to be extreme and is it going to put off voters?
Oh, okay.
Are they going to wish they hadn't put on a convention?
Yeah, because it's televised, isn't it?
Oh, big time.
Will
it put off voters?
What is going to be their new banner? We're dictators and proud of it. I mean, that's what they were flying at CPAC, wasn't it? We're terrorists, or we're dictators, or something like that was the banner.
Literally dictators, because all they want to do is, control women's rights.
One word, Jen, right there. Johnny, this is for you.
That and a potato.
Oh, Lord.
Get you a little potato to go with that.
Will they be sorry they had one in the first? Okay, so there is a person there. I don't know why it's singling in on this person in particularly. Young man, possibly African in descent, that if I were advising him, I would tell him not to go. This does nothing for his public image. This is also not even something he wants to do, which means he's having sort of a dark night of the soul type moment, to where he should be listening to the people around him and the voice within him instead of the people at these conventions. There is something that may make him look very Uncle Thomas, very tokenish, and very tokenish. And that also reflects badly upon whoever is speaking in front of him or behind him in this in particular convention, because this looks like you don't care. Mind you, black jobs, that didn't help either, but this doesn't look like you care anything about black or African people.
Johnny, so, I'm sorry, you're black. What's a black job? And I'm Hispanic, so you can ask what a Hispanic job is.
Like, I'm trying to talk about black people that work for NASA, that have been astronauts, and that are physicists and engineers. Please, Mr. Trump, what is a black job?
Johnny, what's a black job? And then y'all can ask me what's a Hispanic job, because according to
a DJ, that's a black job, right? A rapper, is that what a black job is? I ain't got one, I guess.
I get people will walk away from this. People turned off by this. The messaging about who their leader is burdens them. And moving forward, people that are impoverished, people that need people to be a little more charitable towards them, will feel very bullied by the government. Watching the manipulations, Trump's going to appear very erratic. And it's going to isolate him from more, where they're trying to secure votes. No, there's more people that are going to shift and move away from him. It's not going to help.
What did you get, Autumn?
Okay, I mainly the cards I was getting were about other than Trump. So I pulled three more specifically about Trump at the end, but mostly what I was getting is about because there are going to be a lot of speakers and a lot of things being said, and they're going in there just excited. We have a plan. This is going to be great, where we have our force field against those Democrats. See, and they'll have to go running. I mean, it's like, okay, dude.
It's like, please, Lara Trump, sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let her do the twerking on the
Twerking,
freaking
singing.
like she's trying to go to the gym. She's over there like twerking. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right in the center of everything, I've got them embarrassing themselves. Just like, oh my gosh, did that really happen? I don't know if we'll get a full Clint Eastwood moment, but this is oh my gosh. There's a lot of arguing back and forth. They are putting off women. The boys get to be as awful as they want, and one of the things I am picking up is the talk about rounding up immigrants is not going to go well.
Is Melania included in that? Because last I checked, she was an immigrant.
I didn't really care, do you?
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and this is one of the big things that they end up weakened, and where'd everybody go, kind of thing. So they start out with these really weird ideas about sticking it to the Dems, and it ends with but then I specifically asked about Trump. I think that's women, we may enjoy, or actually people who believe in women, we may enjoy watching Dumpy decide he's going to just accept their coronation of he is the center of all. It reminds, I don't know why it's coming to mind, but if anybody who saw the first Doctor Strange movie, where Benedict Cumberbatch, he played a surgeon who ends up getting mystical powers and being taken down a peg, to learn some humility. And at one point, the character is saying, people used to laugh at my jokes. And the librarian there just says, did they work for you? It's this, I'm getting a mental image. I mentioned earlier, it's like a big golden crown, but it's like a big plastic golden crown. And there's like, I'm getting a mental image of like toilet paper, like.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go to Burger King and get those little Burger
paper
King the paper.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing on the Burger King crowd. And then his little staff thing is going to be a ketchup.
Yeah, with one of the things of toilet paper right there, and it's just like trailing off to the side. I don't think he's going to get the ratings that he wants, because I think people are going to be put off, and he's going to try to do that razzle dazzle. But ultimately, let's not forget that have a good time, would be dictator, because September's coming.
I have a question about the convention. Is that when they decide? Is that when the delegates vote? Can we ask, does he have the delegates to get because the nominee, because that's when they get the nomination, right?
Cheryl in chat said Felon Don will have a My Pillow stuck to the side of his head. Cheryl, you a bad girl.
So
And I love it.
is that how that works at the convention? The delegates decide.
Yeah, they cast their votes based on the primaries. Usually based on the primaries.
So will he have the delegates at the convention?
Well, he already does unless they defect. It's almost like I don't think he's going to have even regular number of defections, which are few. I think that he's got the pity vote, and this boosts him up just long enough to stay in the race. For now.
There is so many people there that don't believe in him, his ticket, his presidency, and they're just going to go anyway. And this is, see, here's the problem, okay? Not to raise anybody's blood pressure, but it is still a possibility because he can't get more votes than he has now because he's not a person who appeals anymore. His little stunt yesterday did not endear him to anybody on the left, I guarantee you.
Nope.
What is happening, though, is you have the media trying to sabotage Biden's campaign along with everything else. Biden at his, in particular, rallies, though, in town halls and whatever, is getting the crowd to chant, "Don't you quit."
Yeah.
Which gives you a complete contrast from what the media is doing. So this is why we have to remain focused too. Those who matter are still behind him. Those who talk the loudest are the ones sowing dissension. I get that there's a lot of people there that do not support Donald Trump, but they're going in that direction anyway, because they're trying to do it for the team. Meanwhile, if he's going to fail, why support him? That's the logic, but I'm using logic, and I know I shouldn't. But
Johnny, here's to your point. Donald Trump lost in 2016. He lost in 2018. He lost in 2020. He's lost in 2022. He's going to lose again in 2024. And he drug everybody down with them. You can't clean yourself of him. And now you have Project 2025 and that extremism. And you're gonna hitch your wagon to that. You're gonna hitch your wagon to that.
Here's your drinking game for the Republican convention. Every time they blame what happened yesterday on Biden, take a shot. Because it's going to come up.
Of water.
Yeah, people will die.
Yeah, we don't need alcohol poisoning.
We don't need alcohol poisoning right now.
It's like this is a runaway horse that they have lost control on, and nobody's got the reins. It's like the Republicans, they're tied to Trump, the thief and everything, even though there's a lot of people looking differently at a woman. So the support, will probably go to Trump, but behind the scenes, when they're alone and talking, they're trying to figure out how do we end this, the bully, the loser, how do we get him out of our, he's betrayed us and we don't win when he's there. They can't figure it out. It's a runaway horse and they don't know how to stop it.
It's really easy, actually. Just say, no, we're not voting for that.
Logic, you don't lose logic.
Somebody else.
Johnny, to use your words. To use your words, Johnny, because in the Grand Tableau, it showed a lot of infighting. A lot of fighting at the convention.
Because he's not a good choice. That's just the bottom line. And call him, love him, hate him, or leave him. Listen, he's not a good choice.
He's a good choice if you're wanting your VP to get, or you're trying to catch an STD. Nope. Difficult partnership, committed to the institution. I'm kind of sort of leaning to maybe behind closed doors, this is like a contested convention, whatever that means. A contested convention is like, what can somebody explain that to me like I'm a 2-year-old? Is that when the party wants one person, but it's contested where the other side wants.
Yeah,
another person.
where they try to put forward a nominee that wasn't the winner in the primary.
Because this is showing they're having a very difficult time getting on board with that train, and they're committed to the institution.
One thing that I haven't been talking about very much, or as much, because of all the crazy astrology that's hitting right now with Mars and Uranus and Algol and all that kind of stuff, is that on day 2 of the convention, so Tuesday, the moon goes opposite that whole mess to activate that, and that moon, so getting emotions involved, that moon is in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, plutonium, intensity, fixed water sign.
Drag it all out and cry.
It's like, oh man, it's who.
The only way I'll watch it if it's on MSNBC and they're streaming and commenting on it, because I am not going to go out of my way to watch that shit show, is all I'm saying. I mean, I'm here for the drama. I'll watch it with my popcorn, but it's like, ugh.
The best clips, will be on Midas Touch and Brian Tyler Cohen and stuff. So don't watch too much of it unless you want to do the drinking game.
Yeah, no, don't do the drinking game. You're going to end up with alcohol poisoning.
Too much water gives you diarrhea too. So just be moderate in there.
Really? Yeah. I drank so much. Well, there was this one time where I was cutting back on salt. So I cut back on all the salt, and I couldn't stop drinking water, Johnny. Like I was so thirsty. Like I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And finally my trainer was like, "Did you cut salt?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, put a little bit of sea salt in your water and to help me retain the water." But I'm telling you, I drank like gallons at a time, and I never got the Hershey.
It takes a lot, but it's because too little is constipation and too much is diarrhea.
Yeah, I never got the Hershey squirts. So I mean, that's TMI, but I'm just putting it out there.
Moving on.
So we got the convention stuff. So I don't want to talk about the media with Joe Biden to drop out. Oh, actually, I kind of sort of do. Because now we're starting to see a shift. I think the New York Times, and there was another magazine or newspaper that started writing opinion pieces and stuff about how bad Donald Trump is. So why all of a sudden the narrative shift? Because it's like they're trying to influence the voting populace with this narrative that Joe Biden's too old. Meanwhile, the convict over there with 88 felony charges, pending 3 trials, convicted on 34, like
impeached twice,
led an insurrection, stole a bunch of money. Like, I mean, we could just
on the Epstein list, God knows how many times.
I mean, the guy's got a laundry list longer than a rap sheet longer than the CVS receipt, dude. Those CVS receipts are those damn things are like
$5 off and $2 off of Preparation H and $3 off of Tylenol PM and $4 off of Sprite. It's like,
those CVS receipts, Johnny.
They're phone books. I used to work there.
Our media, like CNN started losing people watching them when they didn't, regulate the debate, didn't fact check during the debate.
And then the guy the guy that was hosting the debate, what was his name?
Jake
Tapper got busted posting a bunch of bullshit on Twitter and tried to delete it, and people had already screenshotted it.
So they started losing viewers, and then MSNBC, because they were talking about how bad Biden did, instead of like, the alternative is Trump. Hello. There is no choice here. There's democracy or there's crap.
The only people that were on that train that I saw was the usual suspects: Andrea Mitchell, Katie Tur, and then Ari Melber started jumping on that. And it's like, yo, cancel recording. I stopped watching him. So I want to know why all of a sudden the shift in the narrative. It's like they just remembered, oh, the other guy's worse. You know, like,
Yeah.
The all that glitters is not gold. And when you chase the clickbait, Biden had a poor performance at the beginning of his debate, not the whole way through, at the beginning of his debate. And they took that moment and then spun it in the media because people were talking about it. Now, mind you, keep in mind, most of the people that you see on TV are not reporters. They're commentators. And so they're just like us. We're not reporters either. So if you want to do your fact check, go do your fact check. We're not here to inform you. This is entertainment. It really is. All of this is gossip and hearsay till you see it somewhere. So when you are chasing the clickbait, when you're chasing the story, you have to come along with what you get when you catch it. And so what you got was 80 million people who voted for Joe Biden, saying, why are you telling us that he should drop out? Why are you attacking him, basically? Meanwhile, he's going against one of the most vile people on earth. And this is the person you called to drop out. Why didn't you call for him to drop out when he announced his candidacy the moment he did? So there's your Five of Pentacles. This is your lack and your loss and your dusty, because you have nothing left. People have left you because once you erode trust, that is it. People now will always look at you the exact same way. There's your regrets. And there's Joe Biden, King of Cups. You're now pressured to try to change your image for the future with the Star and the Nine of Wands. Stop chasing the clickbait. Stop doing that. But again, you have eroded the trust. So you got a long ways to go before maybe all it takes right now is a couple of firings. Yeah. Clean house, get some new people in and say, this is what we're going to do, the end.
And Andrea Mitchell is Andrea Mitchell and Katie Tur. Nancy Pelosi called out Katie Tur to her face and called her a Trump apologist. And the other day, Andrea Mitchell, which is another Trump apologist who always plays, the devil's advocate on the show. But what about, I get it. You're super wealthy. Your husband's super wealthy. You guys are Republicans and yada, yada, yada. Shut up. The other day she was on the news and it was like, the little boxes with all the people talking. This was Andrea Mitchell. She no shit was fucking falling asleep during the show while the camera was still on her. I was like, are you serious right now? But okay.
They're losing people. They're trying, they were looked at as trying to move votes to Trump or moving their camp to Trump. And it made people very, very emotional and the illumination on this. So yeah, to Johnny's point, like they need to get a different perspective on the media and how they manipulate people and stuff because they've lost people. It's too much fear base.
It's a great time to go to your local library, you guys, and get some reading material on media literacy in this day and age.
Yeah, we don't have as many journalists as we used to have that would actually do the research behind stories. Especially on the TV. To Johnny's point, they're just commentators.
Yeah, with the exception of perhaps Rachel Maddow, because she really is a journalist.
She'll dig in. And what's the guy that always goes overseas places? He's always in places where there's...
I can see his face.
Yeah, he was all over Afghanistan. So I can't think of his name.
Is he on MSNBC?
Hey, Richard Engels?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, there's very few journalists like him that go into the heat of places and report.
What did you get, Miss Autumn?
What I got, most importantly, was a kitty. What I was getting was like MSNBC, all these things, they're owned by larger companies that by law have to turn a profit. they have to put their shareholders first by law. And it doesn't, so if they're throwing people under the bus, if they're firing, if they're doing whatever heinous, horrible things they want to, as long as they're turning a profit, that's what matters. A lot of those people, they don't want to pay more taxes because, of course, they don't have enough money, I guess. So they're more establishment, and so they don't necessarily want more Democrat. They want the Republicans back in so they pay less taxes, and to heck with what anybody else needs or wants. The selfishness is staggering. However, yes, they started losing viewership. They started losing, but it's weird because I was also getting that they wanted to bring, they didn't actually, they kind of, though they wanted him to drop out because it would help ratings.
Yeah.
And they also wanted to knock him down a peg to make the election more competitive.
A horse race.
Yeah.
A horse race.
Yeah. However, they have, it feels like they've got some internal like polling numbers that we don't know about, that or some kind of polling numbers we don't know about where they're like, ooh. And
yeah, it's called when they go in there and they look at their numbers and, oh shit, we dropped 20 million views.
Yeah. Yep. But here's the thing. September, the and the legal stuff for Trump is going to be, I keep getting it's going to be bad for him. Good for us, bad for him. And that's going to mess up the profitability of some of these. Well, they'll cover the unprecedented nature of whatever happens to Trump, but it does make it potentially less of a horse race.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, you're chasing the profits, you're chasing the horse race to get the viewership, but you did read Project 2025, did you not? You do realize that you will be the enemy of the state, did you not? You do realize that these clowns are looking to jail all you mofos for no reason other than they're bored and they want to, and it's a Tuesday. It's a day of the week that ends in Y. You know, like, it seems like short-sighted stupidity.
Unless you repeat our propaganda, we're going to jail you as reporters.
I got the bouquet, the snake, the rider, the key, and the mice. Why did they change the narrative? People are not happy with what they're delivering, and they're seeing them as a bunch of liars, and they're losing visitors, losing viewers. Viewers think that they're being lied to. There's the lie. There's, being discovered. So, and they're not happy. Happy visitors taken away, missing. Like, they're just not going to watch. Like, this is the bullshit. Like, people have eyes, and the political punditry class is very condescending to regular people. Oh, voters don't remember. I remember the Trump years just fine. I'm sure all of us do. You don't need to tell me that I forgot what happened a few years ago when there was semis parked in New York City putting bodies in there because they ran out of places during the pandemic. I don't need you to remind me. I didn't forget. We all remember. It was traumatic. Some of us are still like recovering from the freaking trauma, so, but they're so condescending that it's just like, it's freaking disrespectful. They don't give people the credit that it's like, we're here to inform you and tell you how to think because we know that you're incapable of doing it yourself. And I don't think people appreciate that. So that's what I get. That's all I got for tonight.
This was fun. Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed it. Next week, we on Mr. Johnny's channel.
Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
What's next week?
Well, we got the Republican convention this week, so next week should be really entertaining.
It should be a shit show, Johnny.
I might have to pay attention once or twice, huh?
Well, I'll send you text on the text and not ever respond.
That'll work for me.
Yeah. But
Wait for the
Autumn,
highlight.
Autumn will cover it, right? So we'll watch because she's noon every day, noon central.
Every day.
For those. Yeah, every day. So
every day for this lady right here.
I'll just
Every
take notes.
single everything's time stamped. So all you have to do, you don't have to even watch the video. You can just come by and you can just look down.
Watch the whole thing.
Mhm.
Be supportive. Watch the whole thing.
Yeah. And
If you don't even watch it, just at least play it and then turn away if you can.
And for all the people in the back that keep asking me, Becca, why don't you? I got a job. I don't have time to sit here and timestamp my videos. No.
Oh, no. Look,
I'm not saying about you. I'm saying about people that come to me like timestamp your videos. No,
Timestamp.
you can do it.
Mystery Achiever used to timestamp our videos for us, and she doesn't have time now. So occasionally she'll try to do it. But any of y'all that want to timestamp our videos, we'll pin it to the start. Anybody's got time to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Pin
you.
it in the comments.
And anybody who would like to timestamp my stuff, that would be great too. But I end up doing it myself most of the time. So
This is
So,
my
anyway.
full-time job, y'all. I don't do this every day. So so that's all I got. We will see you next week on Johnny's. I don't know if I'll be popping in during the week to do more readings on whatever. I don't know. It depends on work, so, and how brain dead I am at the end of it. So y'all have a great week. Stay safe. Get your asses out to vote. Get your friends out to vote. Get people registered to vote. Do your civic duty and tell Project 2025 to pack sand. Adios.
We'll use Kitty too for the kitty show.
Bye.